It's time for Growing Hope, the show determined to grow up hearts open to pursue the extraordinary. Because you are extraordinary. And now, it's your host, Catherine Lang.
Hello there. Welcome to Growing Hope. I am Catherine Lang, your voice of encouragement, here to dare you to live a life in hope. Because when we live in hope, when we walk in hope, everything else becomes possible. We make a way for living our big dream goals, for walking out our possibilities, for daring to live our best lives in our unique way. Because each of our paths, even if we're walking similar paths, even if we're walking a path where someone else has gone before us and cut a wake through the water so that it's an easier path for us to walk, even when we are doing something almost identical to somebody else, it's different. It's different for us because we are unique. You are the only you out there. You are the only one who can walk your path. You're the only one who can define your path. And it is up to you to make the choices and take the steps to do it. And hope makes the way. If we can hang on to hope and we can plant seeds of hope and grow up that hope, then we will live out a life of bold possibilities. But we have to choose to find the hope, to live the hope. Over the last several weeks, we've been talking about how to keep on keeping on. You remember the last series. If you missed it, you can go over to growinghoperadio.com. You can catch up there. But during the last series, we were talking about learning to talk butterfly, because you can't talk butterfly to caterpillar people. You can't talk possibility living to someone who is tethered to the limits of the world. You have to break out, break free, and take off into your possibilities. Then we started a series about how to keep on keeping on. If you've been enjoying this series, or even if this is your first time listening or watching, please make sure you subscribe. You can find on YouTube, you can find the subscribe button right below the video. And on your favorite podcast segment listener, you can find the subscribe button there as well. But subscribe, support the Growing Hope broadcast so that we can continue to spread seeds of hope. And this week, we're spreading hope by dreaming. We're going to keep on keeping on by continuing to dare to dream. When we dare to dream, we find new ways to see beyond the complexities. See, it is simple. Walking out your unique design is simple because it's yours. You get to define it. You get to set the pace. You get to set the pattern. You get to set the path because it's you. And so, therefore, it is simple. We just work really hard to make it complicated. But dreaming helps us to just clear out all the clutter and think of all the good things to come. Think of all the joy you'll find when you leave the world behind. So we're going to play at being a kid, listen to our heart, see beyond the world's possibles, silence the negatives, and learn to see the unseen. And today the focus is on playing at being a kid, much like what I was just doing. And for those who don't know, look it up. Around here, we have a tendency to, anytime someone makes a reference that could almost remotely even possibly be a song or a TV quote or a movie quote, we take off into that realm. And that's kind of what I was doing. But that's what happens when you play, when you're willing to just play, to enjoy the journey. You have to get back to the limitless imagination of being a kid if you want to live in limitless possibilities. So today we are talking about how to get back to playing at being a kid. One of the first things is to build a fort, a blanket fort or a tree fort. The second thing is to have a costume party. The third thing is to have a dedicated playtime. We all need time to play. The fourth is to smock it up, put on a smock and go to town. And the final thing is to put on a puppet show. So, literally, today we're talking about playing. It is amazing how, when we take the time to play, we lighten our load, we lighten our heart, we lighten our focus. And in doing so, when we lighten ourselves, we lighten everything around us, we can imagine even more. So, one of the best ways to truly just have fun is to build a fort. Get all your blankets and clear out all the breakables and build a fort in your living room. As soon as this show is over, or schedule it. Better yet, invite some friends over and have a fort spend the night party. have a fort tea party. Whatever. The point is that when we do things like this, they don't have to make sense. They don't have to be regimented. It just is fun. And it takes us back to being a child. There is a reason that we're encouraged to have childlike faith, because childlike faith doesn't have the blocks and the hindrances that come to us when we allow the world to control what we're doing, or to limit what we're doing, or to have any kind of say in what we're doing. I referenced earlier the movie Peter Pan, if you didn't realize that's what I was talking about. But in it, he says, think of all the joy you find when you leave the world behind. That's how you take flight. You leave the world behind. You become untethered from the world. And I'll be honest, until I started saying the lyrics, I didn't even realize what I was saying. But it's so true. Until we leave the limits of this world behind and just totally involve ourselves in the play, in the imagination that comes with building a blanket fort. I think about the Friends episode where they build the box fort. There's just something rejuvenating about taking time to play, and building a fort is about play. The second thing that you can do is to have a costume party, not because it's Halloween, not because it's Mardi Gras, but just because. Just have a costume party. I have several friends that really enjoy going to different cons, the Comic Cons or the whatever cons, but they enjoy going to them because they get to create these elaborate costumes, and that they just get to go play for the weekend. But you don't have to wait for a big event like that. You can just say, hey, next weekend, we're having a costume party. You can theme it, or you can just let people come and in any way they want. But by being dressed up, being not you for the night, it allows your mind to take a break from what is expected of you. We've never done it that way before. These are the burdens that I bear. And you just are light and having fun and laughing. And what happens is it clears your mind enough to start imagining different things that you might not have imagined without that clearing happening. So have a costume party. Let's have an online costume party. I've been at events where you were encouraged to dress up and to come dressed up. It just changes the atmosphere when we are willing to be a little bit silly. When we're willing to take on a different character, when we're willing to step outside the normal and expected. That is what playing at being a kid is about. It's about stepping outside the normal and expected and just having a good time. The third thing that you really need to do if you're going to play at being a kid, or if you're going to go back to the time when you were a kid, is you have to set a time to play. We are a scheduled to the moment kind of society right now. 24/7, 7 days a week, everything's going on. And if you don't set aside time to play, you won't. Someone was sharing a meme on social media recently about the Renaissance fairs, and a group that goes around to all the different Renaissance fairs dressed up as a Star Trek characters. And they were sharing that one of their friends, who is a vendor at many of these events, has started approaching the Star Trek characters and then giving them the what for. He wears a Star Trek badge under his Renaissance garments so that he can flash them and let them know that he's in on it. And then he gives them the what for. But he's in character. He's having fun. But he's got this dedicated time to play. Going to a Renaissance festival on the weekend, there's one in Alabama in October. When you set aside the time, you enjoy it more, because you know that this is dedicated time to play. Have a game night with your family. Once a week is great. Once a month is fine, but have to make time to play together. A family that plays together stays together. So enjoy time to play. Schedule time with your friends to go and play. Go play a game. Go play sports. Go to the arcade. Go hang out at the arcade. If you were arcade people, go hang out at the arcade. Go roller skating. In other words, do something that reminds you of your childhood, something that you enjoyed, or whatever else. Just get out the Legos and have a Lego party. How cool would that be? Find different ways to dedicate this time to play, and then have fun. Have a good time. The fourth thing that you can do to play at being a kid is to smock it up. And what I mean by that is to put on a smock, put on old clothes, do whatever, and just go to town. Painting, finger painting, playing with Play-Doh, or doing some kind of carving craft, or just kind of crafts, unless you're like my husband that doesn't like the glue crafts, and especially if you're working with kindergartens. But don't wait for Vacation Bible School to get your smock on. Always have crafts nearby. And when you feel the burnout happening, when you feel a struggle coming on, do something crafty that brings you some joy, and do it just because it brings you some joy. Playing at being a kid is about in just fully investing in the joy of what you're doing. There doesn't have to be a reason behind it. There doesn't have to be a purpose behind it other than the joy. So look for different ways that you can put on a smock and just enjoy yourself. If you don't have the paints, if you don't have the craft materials, there are plenty of places out there where you can go and take a class for the day, or you can go and participate in an activity for the day. Or I bet if you pick up the phone and call your artsy, crafty friends, they'll let you come over and hang out for the day, adding to the joy of it, because now it's not just you smocking it up, it is you with your friends smocking it up. And that always makes for a more enjoyable journey, because we are designed to be in relationships. So when we are doing things together that bring joy, it multiplies the joy. It doesn't just double it, it multiplies it. So we are enjoying even more because we are connected with others in this joy of play. Find ways to paint, arts and crafts, whatever, but it needs to be a tangible, I'm going to get dirty kind of arts and crafts activity that you need a smock. Don't piddle around with it. Just dive all in. I think about the boys. My husband was on a mission trip, and I let the boys go outside and paint with finger paints. It was water soluble, but they went outside and painted, and they were both completely blue. But they had so much fun, and I had fun because they were having fun. Now, I don't recommend painting yourself blue, but hey, if that's what makes you happy, go for it. And finally, put on a puppet show. Put on a puppet show for yourself. Put on a puppet show for your kids. But make the puppets that you use to put on the puppet show. It can be really fancy sock puppets. It can be pictures that you stick on tongue depressors or popsicle sticks. But make the puppets, make the story, and then put on a puppet show. Bonus points if you videotape your puppet show and then share it in the comments of the Growing Hope show, because doing the puppet show will be fun for you and fun for the people that you talk into joining you. And watching the puppet show will be fun for those of us who get to watch. Because that's what happens when we play. When we play, we laugh. When we laugh, we open up our minds and our hearts to each other and to our possibilities. So we need to get back to the practice of playing, of enjoying the journey, of thinking like kids, just complete joy for the purpose of joy. And when we do that, we grow hope, but we spread hope and we spread joy. And then we find this foundation of peace for walking out our path. The more that we learn to play, the more we remember to play, the more we remember what it was that lit our hearts up when we were growing up. Before the world was able to cover up our heart seed and tell us what our limitations were and tell us what we could and could not do, we had a fundamental understanding of what really excited us and brought us joy. By going back to this process of playing at being a kid, we uncover that heart seed. We uncover that original design, and we begin to be able to grow it up into what we're supposed to be. We find the joy and the excitement again that will fuel our possibility living. And it all starts with play. What could be better than that? Just to spend some time playing so that we can continue to keep on keeping on, to continue walking out this path that we're uniquely designed to do, to keep dreaming big, a little bit impossible and a little bit scary, because we are made for so much more than we limit ourselves to. And when we break that tether to the world and stretch ourselves into our possibilities, then we change the world. And that's what we're here to do. Change the world one seed of hope at a time. If you are struggling in any way to find your seeds of hope, to uncover your heart seed, or to just know how to play, reach out to me today. You can connect with me by visiting the website. It's catherinelang.com, or you can go to growinghoperadio.com. And there is a button there. You can schedule a 20-minute call with me today. It's completely free to you. And we can talk out what it is that you need your focus on. You can also connect with me on social media. Of course, make sure on YouTube you like and share the video. And you can find me over at LinkedIn, Catherine C. Lang. Let's get connected. Let's grow our hope together so that we can boldly go where no man has gone before. Until next time, remember, whatever you're doing, enjoy the journey, find ways to play, be blessed, and in all that you're doing, be a blessing.
Thank you for joining us for Growing Hope with Catherine Lang, where we're sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration to do more. Visit www.catherinelang.com to invite Catherine to be part of your event or to share your own stories of possibility living. Until next time, remember that a seed of hope planted and nurtured will grow up into a world of possibilities.